M433, the perfect starter. The M433 assault rifle breaks every convention about beginner weapons in Battlefield, and it's honestly incredible how good this thing is. This weapon fires at 830 RPM with 25 damage per shot, creating one of the best all-around weapons in the entire beta. We're talking 4-shot kills up to 20 meters, 5 shots out to 70 meters, then 6 shots beyond that. The recoil is surprisingly manageable for such a high fire rate, and you can literally beam people across the map with controlled bursts. What makes this special isn't just the damage output, it's how forgiving it is. Even without attachments, this weapon competes with max-rank guns. The muzzle velocity is slightly slow for an assault rifle at around 650 meters per second, but you won't notice unless you're trying to snipe people at 200+ meters. The reload speed is solid, the handling feels responsive, and honestly, this is genuinely one of the best weapons in the beta, despite being your starter gun. If you just kept using this weapon throughout the entire beta, I wouldn't fault you at all. It's that good. The time to kill is competitive, the range is excellent, and the recoil pattern is predictable enough that you can master it quickly. The M433 proves DICE knows how to make beginners feel powerful from minute one, but the NVO-2280, that's where they started lying to us about damage numbers. Tank NVO-2280, the hidden powerhouse. Next up, the NVO-2280 assault rifle has a secret that completely changes everything about its performance, and DICE definitely did this on purpose. The stats menu says 33 damage, but it actually deals 33.5, and that tiny half-point difference is absolutely game-breaking. That extra 0.5 damage lets it 3-shot kill up close instead of 4, dropping the time to kill under 200 milliseconds. At 6 Fallout Raw VM, it's slower than the M433. But when those 3 shots connect, enemies die faster than some SMGs can kill them. Here's the catch though, that 3-shot kill only works within 10 meters. After that, it's 4 shots to 20 meters, then 5 shots beyond that range. But within that 10-meter sweet spot, absolutely nothing survives. This weapon rewards aggressive positioning and close-quarters combat like nothing else in the assault rifle category. The real kicker is when you add the headshot multiplier ammo, soft point rounds that increase your headshot damage multiplier to 1.7x. With this setup, you can get 2-shot headshot kills in under 100 milliseconds. That's faster than some people can even react to being shot. The recoil initially seems high, but that's mostly because of the default sight and lack of attachments. Once you kit this thing out with a compensator and vertical grip, it becomes incredibly controllable. The 7.62x 39mm rounds hit hard, and the weapon feels punchy in a way that's really satisfying. The NVO-228E rewards aggressive positioning and close-range dominance, but the B36A4 doesn't care about positioning because it has literally 0 recoil. It binds 36A4, the max rank laser. The B36A4 is locked behind max rank, and once you see it in action, you'll understand exactly why DICE made this decision. This G36 variant has literally 0 recoil, and I mean 0. No muzzle climb, no horizontal drift, nothing. It fires at 700 RPM with better range than the M433 and perfect stability. You can hold down the trigger and watch it not move at all. This is without any attachments. Imagine what it does when you fully kit it out. The weapon maintains 4-shot kills at close range with significantly better muzzle velocity than other assault rifles. We're talking about 780 meters per second compared to the M433's 65. That extra velocity makes a huge difference when engaging targets at medium to long range. The bullet drop is minimal, and leading targets becomes almost unnecessary. What makes this the ultimate assault rifle is the combination of competitive damage with absolutely 0 recoil management required. You can literally point and click at enemies 100+ meters away and land every single shot. The precision stat on this weapon is maxed out, making it incredibly accurate even during sustained fire. The weapon comes with a built-in scope, which is interesting, but most players will probably swap it for a red dot sight for better close-range versatility. The handling characteristics are smooth, the reload animation is quick, and the overall feel is that of a premium weapon. DICE put this at max rank because it would completely break the game if everyone had access to it immediately. This is what a perfectly balanced but slightly overpowered weapon looks like. It's incredibly effective, but not broken enough to ruin the experience. Assault rifles set a high baseline for weapon performance, but carbines, that's where BF6 goes completely off the rails. M4A1, the 900 RPM monster. The M4A1 carbine fires faster than most SMGs and somehow still manages to work at medium range, which shouldn't be possible. This isn't your typical M4A1 from other games. It fires at a blistering 900 RPM with surprisingly manageable recoil. We're talking 4-shot kills to 10 meters, 5 shots to 20 meters, then 6 shots out to 70 meters. Past that 70-meter mark, it drops to 7 shots, which is rough. But within its effective range, nothing kills faster except the completely broken shotgun. The weapon shines in specific scenarios. It's absolutely perfect for game modes like King of the Hill, where fights happen at close range consistently. The high rate of fire means you can delete multiple enemies in quick succession if you position yourself correctly. On larger maps with longer sightlines, it definitely struggles compared to assault rifles with better range retention. But here's where it gets interesting. With the right attachment setup, this thing becomes significantly more viable. A compensator, vertical grip, and the right barrel length can turn this into a legitimate medium-range threat. The recoil pattern is predictable, mostly vertical with some horizontal bounce, but it's manageable with practice. The weapon really comes alive in tight quarters. Urban environments, building interiors, capture points with lots of cover. This is where the M4A1 dominates. The mobility is excellent, the ADS time is quick, and the sustained fire capability is impressive for a carbine. One downside is the ammunition consumption. At 900 RPM, you'll burn through magazines incredibly quickly if you're not disciplined with your trigger control. The reload speed is decent, but you'll find yourself reloading frequently in sustained engagements. The M4A1 trades long-range effectiveness for close-range dominance, but the AK-205 makes the opposite trade, and it's absolutely terrible. AK-205, the zero recoil disappointment. The AK-205 carbine has perfect recoil control, but that comes at such a devastating cost that it's barely worth using. This weapon literally doesn't move when you fire it, zero recoil in every direction. The stability is so perfect it's almost unsettling. But here's the problem. It only does 20 damage per shot at 720 RPM, requiring 5 shots to kill within just 10 meters. Past that tiny range, it needs 6 shots. The time to kill is so slow you'll lose every single fair fight. Let me put this in perspective. While you're landing your 5 shots to get a kill at close range, an M4A1 user has already killed you with 4 shots at 900 RPM. The math just doesn't work in your favor. The DPS is significantly lower than every other viable weapon in the game. The 5-hit kill range is pathetically short at about 10 meters. I'm not exaggerating when I say you can measure this range by counting steps. Beyond that, you're looking at 6 shots to kill, and the damage continues to drop off from there. At medium range, you might need 7 or 8 shots, which is completely uncompetitive. The weapon fires 5.45 ACT-39mm rounds, which explains the low damage per shot, but the trade-off for perfect recoil control just isn't worth it. In a game where most weapons already have manageable recoil with proper attachments, perfect stability becomes meaningless when you can't actually kill anyone efficiently. You can run headshot multiplier ammo to make it slightly more viable, increasing the headshot damage multiplier and potentially reducing shots to kill with good aim. But even then, you're still at a significant disadvantage compared to almost every other weapon option. The AK-205 proves that zero recoil means absolutely nothing without the damage to back it up, but the M417A2 proves that copying homework poorly gets you caught. M417A2, the lazy copy-paste. The M417A2 carbine is the most disappointing weapon in the beta for one very simple reason. It's completely unnecessary. It's literally a copy-paste of the NVO-228E assault rifle with one crucial downgrade that makes no sense. Identical 33.5 damage, same 3-shot kill potential, same 650 RPM fire rate, same damage ranges, but inexplicably cursed with a 20-round magazine instead of 30 rounds. The weapon uses 7.62 by 51mm NATO rounds, which should theoretically make it hit harder than the NVO-228E's 7.62 by 39mm Soviet rounds, but the damage values are identical. This suggests either lazy balancing or intentional design to make one weapon strictly inferior to the other. It does have slightly better muzzle velocity, but that marginal improvement doesn't justify losing 10 rounds per magazine. In sustained firefights, that smaller magazine becomes a serious liability. You'll find yourself reloading constantly, which disrupts your ability to engage multiple targets or maintain pressure on enemies. The handling characteristics are virtually identical to the NVO-228. Same recoil pattern, same attachment options, same effective ranges. The weapon even sounds similar when firing. It's like DICE took the assault rifle version, slapped a different model on it, and called it a day. There's genuinely no scenario where you'd choose this over the NVO-228E. The assault rifle version does everything this weapon does, but better, with more ammunition. It's not even a matter of preference or playstyle, it's just objectively inferior in every meaningful way. This represents some of the laziest weapon design in the beta. When you have multiple weapons that serve the exact same role, one of them becomes redundant, and unfortunately, it's this one. Carbines range from incredible to absolutely insulting. But SMGs completely broke the traditional weapon hierarchy. SGX, the SMG that broke the game. The SGX submachine gun is the most overpowered starter weapon in Battlefield history, and it's not even close. This 9mm PDW has better recoil control than most assault rifles and absolutely incredible hipfire accuracy. We're talking 25 damage for 4-shot kills up close, with virtually no recoil when fully kitted out. But here's the insane part. It can 7-shot kill out to 70 meters. That's legitimate rifle territory for an SMG. Put this weapon on the engineer class and the hipfire spread becomes absolutely insane. The class-specific bonuses make the hipfire so tight, you can engage enemies at medium range without even aiming down sights. I've consistently won fights against assault rifle users at ranges where SMGs should be completely outclassed. The weapon is incredibly versatile. Close range? It dominates with that 4-shot potential and excellent mobility. Medium range, the recoil is so controllable you can tap fire or burst fire to land hits consistently. Long range? Obviously not ideal, but with proper positioning and patience, it's not impossible. With attachments, this thing becomes a literal laser beam. A compensator eliminates the minimal vertical recoil, a vertical grip handles any horizontal bounce, and an extended barrel improves the already decent muzzle velocity. Add soft point ammo for increased close-range damage, and you have a weapon that shouldn't exist. The reload speed is quick, the magazine capacity is sufficient for multiple engagements, and the overall handling is smooth and responsive. The weapon feels like it was designed to be a starter weapon that remains competitive throughout the entire progression. This weapon single-handedly proves that SMGs don't need to trade range for close-quarter power in BF6. It's viable at any range, dominant up close, and accessible from the start. It's honestly broken in the best possible way. The SGX dominates through pure versatility, but the PW7A2 tries to win through overwhelming speed. PW7A2, the 950 RPM letdown. The PW7A2 submachine gun fires faster than almost anything in the game, but sometimes speed isn't everything. 950 RPM should theoretically make this the ultimate close-range killer, but the damage numbers tell a completely different story. The stats say 16 damage, but it actually deals 16.7, letting it 6-shot kill instead of 7. That's still not great time to kill when the S4 shots at nearly the same rate. The weapon fires 4.6 by 30mm rounds, which explains the lower damage per shot. This is the same cartridge used by the real-world MP7, prioritizing velocity and penetration over raw stopping power. In-game, this translates to excellent armor penetration but requires more hits to achieve kills. The hipfire accuracy is genuinely incredible, and the recoil is basically non-existent. You can hold down the trigger and watch the weapon stay perfectly on target even during sustained fire. The stability is so good it almost feels like a bug. But here's the fundamental problem. By the time you land 6 hits with this weapon, an SGX user has already dropped you with 4 shots. The fire rate advantage doesn't overcome the significant damage disadvantage. The theoretical DPS might be competitive, but in practice, the higher shots to kill requirement is a major liability. The weapon does have some advantages. The 4.6mm rounds have excellent muzzle velocity, making it easier to hit moving targets at range. The penetration characteristics are superior, allowing you to damage enemies through light cover more effectively. The ammunition capacity with extended magazines is generous. In specific scenarios like pre-firing common angles or suppressing multiple enemies, the high rate of fire can be beneficial. But in direct one-on-one engagements, which make up the majority of combat encounters, it's consistently outperformed by the SGX. SMGs prove that recoil management doesn't matter in BF6. But light machine guns take that concept to the absolute extreme. L1410, the sustained fire king. The L14 light machine gun embodies everything classic about battlefield support weapons, for better and worse. This belt-fed monster delivers sustained suppressive fire with a 100-round capacity that feels infinite compared to other weapons. We're talking 25 damage with 4-shot kills to 20 meters, 5 shots to 70 meters, then 6 shots beyond that. The damage profile is actually competitive with assault rifles, which is impressive for a support weapon. The weapon has terrible handling while mobile, slow ADS time, reduced movement speed, lengthy reload animations. But deploy that bipod and it becomes a completely different beast. The stability improvement is dramatic, turning it into a stationary turret that can engage targets at ranges that would challenge designated marksman rifles. The L0110 demands positional gameplay in a movement-focused game. Get caught repositioning, and you're essentially dead against any competent opponent. But hold an angle with proper cover, and nothing can effectively push you. The suppressive effect is real. Enemies will think twice about exposing themselves to sustained LMG fire. It's absolutely perfect for breakthrough defense and area denial. Choke points, doorways, long sightlines, anywhere you can set up and create a killing field. The psychological impact is significant too. Players quickly learn to avoid areas where they know an LMG is set up. The weapon rewards patience and game sense over raw mechanical skill. Understanding map flow, predicting enemy movement, and choosing the right position matters more than quick reflexes or precise aim. It's a thinking player's weapon that requires a completely different mindset. But it also requires teammates who understand your limitations. You need support for flanking threats, resupply for sustained operations, and coordination to make repositioning possible. Solo play with this weapon can be frustrating. The L110 rewards smart positioning and tactical thinking, but the KTS-100 MK8 rewards lying prone for the entire match. KTS-100 MK8, the prone camper's dream. The KTS-100 Mk8 light machine gun has perfect accuracy but demands the most passive playstyle possible in BF6. This weapon literally doesn't move when you fire it. Zero recoil at the cost of everything else that makes weapons fun to use. We're talking 60-round magazine capacity, 500 RPM, the slowest full auto rate of fire in the entire game. It has the same damage ranges as the LA-110 but with perfect stability. The fire rate is painfully slow compared to other options. While assault rifles are pumping out 700-800 plus rounds per minute, you're stuck at 500. This makes the weapon feel sluggish and unresponsive in dynamic combat situations. The lower magazine capacity compared to the LA-110 means more frequent reloads despite the slower fire rate. If you're the type of player who likes to prone camp hallways on breakthrough, this is absolutely your weapon. The recoil control is so perfect you can engage targets at extreme ranges with sustained fire. The accuracy is surgical, every shot goes exactly where you aim it. But here's the fundamental issue. We've seen plenty of low recoil options throughout BF6's weapon roster. When assault rifles can already beam people across the map with minimal recoil management, perfect accuracy doesn't justify the massive mobility and fire rate sacrifices. The weapon works best in very specific scenarios: long-range overwatch, defensive positions, pre-aimed angles. But the modern battlefield experience emphasizes movement, flanking, and dynamic positioning. This weapon actively discourages those elements. It's effective if you can commit to the playstyle it demands. Set up in a good position, deploy the bipod, and methodically engage targets at range. The precision is undeniable, and the damage output is respectable. But it requires a level of patience and passivity that many players find boring. LMGs at least fit their intended support role, but designated marksman rifles, they're genuinely disappointing across the board. M39 EMR, the forgettable DMR. The M39 EMR designated marksman rifle should reward precision and skill, but marksmanship literally doesn't matter with this weapon. This semi-automatic rifle requires 3 shots to kill with significant recoil and terrible hipfire characteristics. But here's the most frustrating part. The headshot multiplier is only 1.35x, meaning even perfect headshots still require 3 hits total. You can't fire it particularly fast either due to the rate cap. For a weapon called a designated marksman rifle, the complete lack of headshot reward is baffling. In a game where precision should be rewarded, this weapon treats a perfect headshot the same as hitting someone in the foot. The damage model makes no sense for the weapon's intended role. The recoil is substantial for a precision weapon. Each shot kicks the sight picture significantly, requiring time to reacquire targets for follow-up shots. This makes engaging multiple targets or finishing wounded enemies more difficult than it should be. The effective range is decent, but not exceptional compared to assault rifles with proper attachments. You can engage targets at medium to long range, but assault rifle users can return effective fire from the same distances. The advantage isn't significant enough to justify the drawbacks. The weapon does have some positive aspects. The semi-automatic action allows for rapid follow-up shots compared to bolt-action rifles. The ammunition capacity is sufficient for multiple engagements without reloading. The overall build quality and animation work is solid. But fundamentally, this feels more like a slow assault rifle than a precision marksman weapon. 3 shots to kill regardless of hit location makes this feel generic and uninspired. When assault rifles can achieve similar results with better versatility, why struggle with this? The M39 EMR disappoints across the board, but the SVK 8.6 at least hits harder. SVK 8.6, the slow but deadly DMR. The SVK 8.6 designated marksman rifle trades everything for raw stopping power, but the trade-offs are severe. This monster fires heavy 8.6 by 70mm rounds that 2-shot kill to the body at extreme ranges. The stats say 60 damage, but it actually deals 50 to the body and 80 to the head in practice. The damage potential is genuinely impressive for a semi-automatic weapon, but the fire rate cap is brutal, mine is around 150 RPM maximum. That's painfully slow for follow-up shots. The time between shots is so long that enemies can find cover, heal, or even return effective fire before you can finish them off. The weapon uses a 10-round magazine, which is limiting for a precision weapon. With the slow fire rate and the need for multiple shots on some targets, you'll find yourself reloading frequently. The reload animation is relatively quick, but any downtime in a precision weapon is problematic. The recoil per shot is substantial due to the heavy cartridge. Each shot significantly disturbs your sight picture, requiring time to settle before making accurate follow-up shots. This compounds the already slow fire rate issue. 2-shot kill potential sounds impressive on paper, but the practical application is limited. By the time you land that crucial second shot, assault rifle users have already landed multiple hits on you from similar ranges. The theoretical advantage doesn't translate to real-world effectiveness. The weapon does excel in very specific scenarios: long-range overwatch, patient target selection, engaging unaware enemies. If you can guarantee your shots connect and you have time to work, it's devastating. But those ideal conditions are rare in actual gameplay. The heavy ammunition presumably offers superior penetration characteristics, allowing you to damage enemies through light cover more effectively than other precision weapons. This niche advantage doesn't overcome the fundamental pacing issues. DMRs struggle with time to kill versus versatility, but the sniper rifle, that solves every problem with one perfect shot. M2010 ESR, the one-shot king. The M2010 ESR sniper rifle is the definition of a power weapon in Battlefield 6, and it's absolutely incredible when used correctly. This bolt-action monster has a damage sweet spot for one-shot body kills between 80 to 120 meters. Outside that range, it's typically a two-shot body kill, but still maintains one-shot headshot potential at any distance. The sweet spot mechanic adds tactical depth. Positioning matters significantly. The muzzle velocity is an insane 1,000 meters per second, making it basically hit-scan at most engagement ranges. Bullet drop is minimal, travel time is negligible, and leading moving targets becomes almost unnecessary. This makes the weapon incredibly user-friendly for a precision rifle. The bolt attachment unlocks after significant usage and completely changes the weapon handling. Being able to cycle the bolt without leaving scope keeps you on target for follow-up shots and maintains situational awareness. It's a game-changing upgrade that rewards weapon mastery. The precision when stationary is perfect, 100% accuracy according to the stats. Every shot goes exactly where you aim it, making the weapon incredibly reliable for skilled users. The consistency builds confidence and allows for aggressive positioning. This represents everything right about BF6's weapon philosophy. High risk, high reward, incredibly satisfying when used correctly. It's a specialized tool that completely dominates in its niche but requires significant skill and positioning to use effectively. The psychological impact on enemies is substantial. Knowing there's a skilled sniper on the map changes how people move, where they take cover, and how aggressively they push objectives. It's an area denial weapon that influences the entire match flow. The weapon rewards patience, positioning, and precise aim over raw mechanical skill or aggressive movement. It encourages a completely different playstyle that adds variety to the combat sandbox. The sniper represents skillful precision and tactical thinking, but there's one weapon that requires absolutely no skill and dominates everything. M87A1, the completely broken shotgun. The M87A1 shotgun is the most overpowered weapon in Battlefield 6, and honestly, it's not even close to balanced. This pump-action monster one-shots enemies at ranges that should be physically impossible for a shotgun. We're talking one-shot kills with standard buckshot out to 20 meters, and that's not a typo, that's 20 full meters. For perspective, that's about the length of 2 city buses parked end-to-end. Two-shot kills extend out to 35 meters with consistent reliability. Even at ranges where the one-shot potential drops off, you're still looking at devastating damage that leaves enemies critically wounded and easy to finish. The damage fall-off is much more gradual than it should be. The weapon fires at 94 RPM, which is actually quite fast for a pump-action shotgun. You can get follow-up shots off quickly enough to engage multiple targets or finish wounded enemies without significant delay. The pump animation is smooth and doesn't leave you vulnerable for long. Here's where it gets absolutely ridiculous. The spread reticle gets bigger when you spam fire, suggesting reduced accuracy, but the actual pellet spread doesn't change at all. You can literally spam this weapon at maximum fire rate while maintaining full accuracy. It's a visual bug that has gameplay implications. Every indoor fight becomes a guaranteed win with this weapon. Capture points, building interiors, urban environments. Anywhere with limited sightlines becomes your personal killing field. The psychological impact is real. Enemies will actively avoid areas where they know a shotgun user is positioned. With slug ammunition, the weapon becomes even more broken. Consistent one-shot body shots to 20 meters become guaranteed, and one-shot headshots extend out to 45 meters. You're essentially carrying a slow-firing sniper rifle that happens to be classified as a shotgun. The mobility while using this weapon is excellent. Unlike other power weapons that slow you down, the shotgun maintains full movement speed and quick handling characteristics. You can rush aggressively, flank effectively, and reposition quickly between engagements. Multiple community sources and content creators have confirmed this weapon is completely broken. It's not just strong or competitive, it's fundamentally unbalanced in a way that warps the entire meta around avoiding or countering it. But what happens when your completely broken primary weapon runs dry? The pistol exists, and that's honestly about all you need to know about Battlefield 6's sidearm situation. This standard 9mm sidearm does exactly what you'd expect from a military pistol. Nothing spectacular, but nothing terrible either. We're talking 25 damage up close for 4-shot kills within 10 meters. Then the damage drops to 6 shots at 25 meters, 7 shots at 40 meters, and 8 shots at 70 meters. The damage fall-off is steep but predictable. Beyond close range, this becomes more of a finishing weapon than a primary fighting tool. The effective engagement range is limited, but within that range, it's reliable enough to get the job done. It's perfectly adequate for finishing wounded enemies or emergency situations when your primary weapon runs dry. The quick draw time makes it useful for rapid weapon swaps in the middle of firefights. That transition speed can be the difference between winning and losing a close engagement. The magazine capacity is standard for modern military sidearms, likely 17+1 rounds. That's sufficient for 1 or maybe 2 enemy encounters before needing to reload. The reload speed is quick enough that you're not vulnerable for long periods. You're definitely not winning any fair fights against primary weapons with this pistol. It's a backup weapon that knows its place in the hierarchy, against wounded enemies, distracted opponents, or in extreme close-quarters surprise situations. It can be effective. The weapon serves its intended role without trying to be something it's not. In a game full of broken and overpowered primary weapons, having a sidearm that simply works as intended is almost refreshing.